Okay, so we're going to hear from Lizard. And this is fine. This is great. Actually, I'm really excited because this is serious medicine. So I will read Lizard and then we're going to dive into it. And this is where I lost you last time and I won't this time. So here's our beautiful Lizard and her message, or his message. Often cloaked in perfect camouflage, scales, and super still, Lizard is only visible when she scampers into your peripheral vision. These reptiles blend in and become one with their environment, even in the most desolate and harshest places on Earth. As long as Lizard has the occasional heat source, some sustenance, and moisture, they seem to be able to thrive in the most oppressive landscapes. We too can adapt to our outer circumstances by self-regulating and adjusting, often just our attitudes. If there is an uncomfortable circumstance in your physical or mental environments, look to Lizard Spirit to see how to gracefully adjust your mindset, expectations, or gear, not only to survive, but really flourish. Cock your head with your inquisitive, lizard-like attitude. Consider all the ways you are in control of how to create opportunity out of this hardship. When trauma or demise are imminent, Lizard senses when to let go of its tail to escape attack from a predator. Sometimes it's necessary to release a part of you in order to save the whole. This cold-blooded creature helps us become aware that there is a constant evolution in our relationships, living situations, beliefs, and physical bodies. Lizard medicine eases our anxiety about surrendering to the inevitable winds of change and gracefully relinquishing that which we have outgrown. Void of Lizard Spirit, we focus on victim stories, living in the past, and self-pity. With awareness, we can instead see the opportunity for fresh starts, learning experiences, and development. When we abdicate the energy that doesn't serve us, we make space for something, a habit, a person, a job, location, or mindset, far more magnificent. In this awake time, see each challenge as an opportunity the universe has placed before you to hone your skills and intellect. Be 100% responsible for your thoughts, attitudes, and actions. Become engrossed in the beautiful stories that are your present, your evolution, and your future. Be prepared and totally responsible for your comfort. With Lizard's example, surrender the ideas and parts of your environment that block you or weigh you down. Live a lighter, more authentic existence. As you relax with Lizard in dream time, give gratitude for your intrinsic autonomic systems that provide life-sustaining reflexes and survival, heartbeat, and breath. With your mind aware and at ease, you can allow your sympathetic nervous system to restore and regenerate your body as nature intended. You will resurrect in the morning refreshed. Lizard message. I choose to let go of programming that controls me, stories that keep me in past trauma, and relationships that are unhealthy for me. I surrender to the winds of change with grace and ease. My mindset determines my enjoyment of any experience. My stories are beautiful, filled with adventure, growth, and wonderment, and wonderful characters. I thrive in all circumstances. All right. That's an easy one to dive into, I think, for anyone. So many examples of how lizard medicine can help us. I think, one of our favorite examples would be Nelson Mandela, right? He could have chosen a very poor attitude, and rightly so. He could have been a victim. Instead, he took what he was given, his environment, and he did not poison himself. In fact, he self-regulated and let go daily of hate, of oppression, of torture, and he turned that into something amazing. So when he was released from prison after, I think, 20-some years, he could lead a country in such a beautiful way. So I know what came up for me with that regeneration was the letting go part. For for sure, creating that space. A lot of times we want to add things in. We want to add in a health regimen, or for mine, one health is always, you know, first and foremost. I think if we're healthy, everything in life is easier. We fire faster. We're more efficient. I'm a doer, for better, for worse. And so I'm constantly in that mode. And when I found myself in a situation and was responsible for the situation of being in a lot of physical pain, for years, that was my mission. How do I become healthy again? How do I rid myself of this pain? And so I was always adding things to it. This is the thing that came to mind first. Relationships too, but definitely physical pain. So I was looking for outward fixes. I was looking for internal fixes. And finally I came across the teachings that it is first about letting go. So with Joe Dispenza's work, a lot of what we pay attention to is our reality. So I needed to let go of my victim story. I needed to let go of telling the story repeatedly. And a lot of times it's just habit. People might ask how things are, and out of habit, we tell a certain story and we frame it a certain way. And with letting go of how that felt, I was able to bring in a new story, which ultimately can change. You know, our thoughts do become neurotransmitters, so our thoughts become things. And so by creating and telling and repeating this new story, I am feeling better. This is amazing. Not necessarily changing the subject, but why not? I mean, if it's an old and horrible subject, why not tell a new story? So maybe in relationships, that's a good one too. We all have relationships that either we would love to change, or we're trying to add things to it. And maybe by first letting go of what's already there, we're then creating that space. Feels like a universal law that once something is emptied, you can then fill it again. Otherwise, you still have these feelings of like unease about a relationship, or you're not happy about something in the relationship. And if you can release those things, either by releasing those attachments and expectations, or releasing the relationship in a healthy way, then you can bring in something new and more lovely. So that regenerative aspect of Lizzard I found really refreshing, and I think there's a lot of that right now where and this might be a good thing to bring up. So literally, a lizard is attached to his tail. A lot of our source of feeling trapped, or feeling anxious, or feeling in pain, or in fear, or frustrated, is because of attachments we have. My friend John recommended a book a couple weeks ago, and I'll put that in the comments too. And it's all about the root of all our human unhappiness has to do with our expectations and our attachments. And with lizard medicine, it's showing me that we can self-regulate. I can ask myself, why am I giving that person this power? What makes me think that they're responsible for my happiness? Or are they responsible for me being this victim right now? When in reality, we have a huge amount of self-regulatory powers. And by controlling our thoughts and being realistic with our thoughts and not giving our mood and our attitude to other people, it's not their responsibility, whether it's a lover or a child or someone, even an enemy who is out to get you. I can self-regulate. I can take that energy back. How I react to what happens can be, like Lizzard was mentioning, this opportunity to grow, this opportunity to say, I don't agree with that. Where did I even get this idea in the first place? And a lot of times, and this book pointed this out, we don't even know why we agree to things. We don't know why we agree to jealousy. That's a made-up thing that we learned probably in childhood, always before we were 6, when we were programmable. So these are all things. Why are they fair? So what are some of the things that we form attachments around? We build walls about. We have to maintain. They take a lot of energy. They take up space. They take up mental space, and therefore they take up our life. And those can be political. Those have to do with stereotypes, just different ways of doing things, habits. People become attached unconsciously to weight, jealousy, pain, our stories, like I mentioned before, religion, social media. So when you're uncomfortable and when we're unhappy, it tends to be this outward focus. There's usually a reason. And I'm very, very guilty of this. Instead, realize that I realize that it's some unsaid expectation or attachment that I have to an idea that something or someone else is responsible for my inner joy, my enjoyment. And I've been saying a lot, and I think Lizzard is saying this, screaming this in a very quiet and strong way. That's your decision. If you want to stay attached to that, that's fine. Or you can let it go, and you'll be lighter and freer. And sometimes, some days, I think for us, it's reminding yourself 1,000 times. Some days are easier, but this notion, this real thing, that we can self-regulate, that we can let go, that we are able to respond in healthy ways. We are 100% responsible. And whether it's watching the news, deciding to let go of, you're letting go of a habit or an action that you agree with. You are watching something. You are giving it the attachment. You are giving it the power of making you anxious and fearful. And I decide I don't want to do that anymore. I don't agree, and I don't like how I feel. And by, let's say, turning that off, you are freeing now, let's say, an hour a day. And now that can actually be filled with something. I know a couple people who have completely turned their life around by letting go of watching the news, except for select things and select times, never early in the morning or in the evening, and filling that with volunteering. And it's a total life change, a total mindset. So that can happen with a relationship. If you want to have a child, what are some of the things that I want to let go of that will open up a healthy body, that will open up healthy space? So this week, let's increase our lizard filter. And when we're anxious, or when we feel something is being done to us, or if there's something we want in our lives, let's ask, what can we let go of to bring that in? And I have a few questions typed out, so I'll put these in the comments. But I've been asking these, like I said, sometimes 20 times a day this week. Asking, is this mine? Is this feeling I'm feeling mine? Where does it start? Do I agree with it? What's weighing me down or holding me back? Why am I feeling this way, and what is the root cause? If something comes up, do I need to fight for this? And sometimes the answer is yes, and then it would be, well, what do I want my attitude to be about this? Do I want to grow from this? And this is a fill in the blank one. If I let go of this, I would have room for this. And it's a constant asking of, if I am unhappy, what is the attachment I have around this? And just noticing. So that, I think, is a beautiful place to end this live again. Sorry the sound didn't work in the first place. A little note to self. And let's take our lizard medicine and have more freshness in our personal lives, in our bodies, in this fresh new year. Thank you.